Okay, so this is just a time-lapse video of a retouching that I did for some photo shoot that I recently photographed. I'm just gonna narrate as I go through the video. So in here I'm just retouching the skin. I'm just doing a regular healing brush, and that's pretty much the only one that I use in this video. I'm using the frequency separation. That's why it looks a little bit blurred. That's because I'm working on the low frequency layer, and I already explained the frequency separation in another video. All the other techniques, I'm gonna explain them eventually and with detail on different videos, but for now this is just an overview. So I'm working on the details. I'm working on the small details and little skin blemishes. I'm not fixing the skin in terms of, you know, a shadow or a blotchy patch that I will want to remove. I don't use the healing brush, whether I'm using frequency separation or not. I don't use the healing brush for that, because that's gonna mess up the texture really bad. For that I use dodging and burning, which you're gonna see in a couple of minutes. Now I'm working on the high frequency layer, and her skin was pretty nice, so I didn't have to do a lot on the high frequency layer. And I'm using a 4.5 blur for those who care. Okay, so now we're working on the dodging and burning. This is basically making the skin even by evening out the shadow areas and the highlight areas. And I add a black and white layer just so I don't get distracted with the color. That's a good technique to use when doing dodging and burning, because the colors sometimes you don't know which one's brighter, which one's darker. So, and I actually have two black and white layers, one transforming into black and white and the other one is for contrast. So the second layer is just a regular curves layer, and it's on either soft light or darken mode. So if you see the black and white flickering or something like that during this video, that's what I'm doing when I was doing the retouch. So I'm just going over the details of the dodging and burning and brightening up the darker spots to make the skin look even. The first step is to make skin even, and then the second one is to give shape if you want to give shape. So that's how it usually works. I usually make the skin even with the dodging, and then give it some shape if I want to with the burning. That's what I do for 90% of the time that I'm doing dodging and burning. Now I'm doing the same dodging and burning technique with the to enhance the eyes. I saved the action for the dodging and burning to create the layers, and the one that I have, it's meant to protect the skin tones because it's limited with the curves, and that I will not normally use that on the eyes, but since she already had pretty bright eyes, and I didn't care too much for it, so I'm using the same. I'm fixing both the skin and the eyes on the same layer, and it's basically just darkening the dark parts and brightening up the bright parts to create some contrast, and then just adding a little bit of contour on the white area of the eye. Just not going over the edges, because that will make the eye look just like a white blotch, and it wouldn't look spherical. So I'm still fixing the eyes, darkening the dark areas, making the dark areas even darker and the bright areas even brighter. That's how you can create that nice contrast. And this is what I'm doing right now. I am lightening up the inner part of the lower eyelid. It just gives the eye a little bit more character, and you stress it even more on the area that is opposite to the catch light. And here I'm fixing a little bit of the wrinkles. That's what they call the pixel level dodging and burning, when you zoom in a lot and you fix the wrinkles one by one. But again, since she had pretty good skin, I didn't have to worry too much about it. Now I'm refining what I did with the eyes, and this is showing a little bit before and after. I'm going back to the details on the neck and stuff like that, and you'll see me on the video like I'm going all over the place, fixing one part and then fixing another. That's usually because, you know, by this time of the video I probably already spent like 40 minutes on the image, and you get tired of working on just one area. So I don't mind like going all over the place on different areas, just to not get tired of the retouch. Yeah, and here the model told me that the lady that did her eyebrows didn't do a really good job on making them even, and I told her that I was gonna fix it in post. So that's what I'm doing right now, right there. And that wasn't my makeup artist, by the way, it was somebody else. And she already has a very good natural long eyelashes, so I'm just darkening up with the burn tone what she already had. I didn't want to mess up a lot with them. I'm just going even more on the details on the skin, going back with the on the frequency separation layers, and that's the beauty of working in a non-linear way, that you can go back to frequency separation, you can go back to dodge and burn and not mess up either one. Now here I'm just enhancing the lips. It's just the same as the skin, making it even, and then you give it a little bit of shape, and you'll see me giving it a shape in a little while. So making it brighter and then making it darker, that will give it the shape. And you have to do it really soft with the lips, otherwise it's gonna look fake. And I really love what my makeup artist did in here. It looks natural, it looks very well. I didn't have to retouch at all. And you see that link below, that's where you can see her Facebook page for my makeup artist. Now here I'm going back to the forehead. You cannot really see it with the video compression, but the forehead had the harshest light, so I had to go back and do an extra softening, and I did that with the again in the frequency separation. So I'm just going back and I'm using the regular healing brush tool. Now when you do that, you're using frequency separation, you lose the connection between the high and the low frequency, and you actually end up making the texture harsher. So I applied the dust and scratches filter. That's what I'm doing right now, and it just softens up a little bit of the texture without you losing any of the detail, any important detail. Now you can, after you fix the skin, you can create some blotchiness. That's either because of the healing brush, or because it's just more obvious now that you don't have any distractions of acne or stuff like that. So you go back with the dodging and burning and fix all those little imperfections. That's you do it that way. You don't do it with the healing brush, because then it's not gonna look natural. It's only going to look worse. So it's about having a good combination of both dodging and burning and regular healing on the skin to give it that glamorous look. Okay, so I flicked through the before and after just so I can see the parts that I missed, part that I overdid and stuff like that. I do that a lot. So like right there, I just went back to the neck. Now I'm going over the liquify tool, and the secret to having a good liquify result, or pretty much everywhere in Photoshop, not just liquify, is to use low settings. The only time that I use my settings at 100% is when I use the healing brush, because then it destroys the texture otherwise. But on anything else I use low settings. So I'm using a density of 15 and the pressure of 11. And you just build it up and build it up and build it up, and you will end with much more natural results. And as you get more experience, then you can use a little bit of harsher settings. But especially for the beginning, you just use the lowest settings that you can. That way it won't be as easy to overdo. And here I didn't really retouch anything on her hair. I only fixed what you see that I'm fixing right now, because it was kind of like a almost messy look. I didn't want to. There was no reason to do anything else to it, because it already has that messy look to it. It wouldn't look right to fix it some places and not in others. Okay, so I'm just bringing the color grading from another image. That's what I do when I have different images from one set. I do all the color in one, and then I just copy and paste the layers onto the other. And in here you're just seeing me fixing the mask. I'm fixing the mask because it belonged to the other image, so I deleted it and created a new one. That will only affect the background. I think that's the last before and after. Okay, and thank you for watching.